Yeah. Yeah.
In the next slide. Like big ears.
So Dr. Hahnemann, when he first brought into the science of homeopathy and proved some of the remedies and started to cure, so then when he was observing, because first the remedies that were proved in the beginning were all non-miasmatic remedies like Brahmania and China. China was of course the first one. So those remedies are the remedies which have no power to counteract the miasm. So in the beginning he proved such remedies and gradually started to observe what is happening when he started the cure with these remedies. So after an intense research for 12 years, then he could bring this understanding of these miasms, especially psora first. So he could establish after intense work of 12 years, then he could establish that it is the miasm, unless the miasm is eliminated totally, it is only even for the so-called chronic condition, because it is, if the miasm, as we have studied, the miasms are really chronic diseases. So without eliminating the miasm, if you treat, that means you are eliminating only some part of the sickness, but not completely eliminating the actual cause of the sickness. So that is why at the later stage, he had to prove again the remedies which can counteract the effect of the miasm in the constitution. That is what in his life that has taken up. So all the anti-miasmatic remedies he could prove at later stage and find out that how they can counteract the miasm in the constitution. So therefore, as we were studying in our last class, when psora is permanently established in the constitution, so the process how it is established we have discussed yesterday. Because of its suppression, when we do something to make the eruption, the so-called eruption, to be suppressed, not to appear on the surface, that means the skin. So then when we constantly make a repeated effort to close this process of throwing out, because as I told you, the vital force constantly keeps a process of elimination of the elements that block the activity of the vital force and also the functioning of the organs, internal organs. Therefore, to save all this, the vital force constantly makes an effort to throw out all such elements that block this. So, starting from the innermost layers of consciousness, it is brought out and brought to physical level, and up at the physical level, then it is brought to the surface, that is skin, to eliminate this. So that is the process. That is quite a natural process. According to the law of nature, what is blocking inside is brought to the circumference, because our whole life activity of consciousness the innermost layer of consciousness, from there always there will be a radiation. The light, our inner light is radiated. That is what we are learning also in other classes, in Patanjali and other classes also. So it is radiation. So when we speak in terms of that radiation of inner light, so this radiation of inner light is hindered, is obstructed by such layers which are formed due to the wrong functionings on the lower planes. So that is what we have to understand about the miasm. So miasm is a factor. Actually, what is a miasm? It is a limiting factor, conditioning factor. So miasm is a factor that conditions the functioning of your mind, that conditions your logic and your will and understanding, and then it conditions also the functioning of the vital force. So it creates obstruction. So therefore the vital force has a mechanism to eliminate and bring out such obstructing factors to the surface. That is the natural course of action. But we the human beings, since we could not understand this action according to the law of nature, therefore we are only concerned about what we could see on the surface, because what we can see on our body is only the outermost surface. That is what we can see with our eye, with our naked eye. Other things we cannot see directly because they are placed inside. So that is why what is happening inside we can only know by other means, but not by direct perception. So we are always concerned about what is seen on this surface, what is skin. So because of this, we made so much of suppression. That is what Hahnemann has explained and proved, that for many, many centuries the human being applied so many methods to suppress all that what is being thrown out by the inner mechanism. So when that is thrown out, so the result, when we absolutely make it impossible for the vital force to bring what is to be thrown out, so then there is no other alternative, because it is all accumulated inside. So when it is allowed to accumulate repeatedly in large quantities only on the physical plane, then within short time the functioning of our internal organs is blocked. That is what we experience many times. So the functioning of lungs, the functioning of heart, kidneys, liver and all this, the vital organs they are blocked by formation of certain substances which come into the way. That is what we see in many types of manifestations. That is what we see when the cardiologist says that your arteries are blocked. And the nephrologist will say that your kidneys are blocked because there is either some formations and all this. So like this. So what is the cause of all this? It is because it was not possible for the vital force to throw out all these factors that block. When the vital force lost its power to bring all this out, it could not bring it out. And so the vital force, as far as possible, there is activity due to this internal defense mechanism. All this is transferred, because when it should not block on the physical plane, that is transferred from the physical plane into the higher planes, and then it is established in the mental plane. So that is how the Sora got established in the mental plane of the human beings. That is what Hahnemann has established. Hahnemann could, with so many examples, he could analyze all this And what is the real cause of sickness? So the real cause of sickness for the human being is this real dangerous greatest disease which has occupied the human race in such a manner that it can stay for generations, as we have discussed yesterday. It continues for generations due to inheritance, and it keeps on making the persons susceptible to all the other external influences, bad influences. So the factors, the real factor which make us susceptible is inside us, in our finer layers of consciousness, in our mental layer, the mind. So that is why, unless you identify this, unless you try to make any effort to work it out on that level, unless you can eliminate or counteract this factor which keeps us susceptible, so the cause of sickness is within ourselves. That is what Hahnemann has explained and established, that you should never try to find the cause, look at the cause outside. Outside, there are many influences which are there from outside, but they can influence you when you have your enemy in yourself. It is the greatest enemy which is established within ourselves. And our mind, when our mind is occupied with this, so with this, all our thinking, all our logic, we are conditioned by this. And therefore, in its turn, what it does is that it distorts our will and understanding and our power of discrimination. So the discrimination is distorted. When our discrimination is distorted, then it is reflected into our action. So our action is always distorted, because whatever what comes into action always. So our action depends upon how it was planned in our mind. So mind is the main medium for this. So the thought is brought into action. So when the thought is distorted, then our action is distorted. So that is the danger. When the structure when the functioning of our mind is distorted, then all our thoughts, and they have already disturbed the discriminative power. So when the discrimination is distorted, then our action, every action, so our relationship with the persons, with the substances, with the objects, because this is the objective world. So in the objective world, we have, in our daily life, we have so many connections and relationships. So there are two types of relationships: right relationship and wrong relationship. Right relationship, what is a right relationship? What is a wrong relationship? What is a right relationship is in our daily life, how you have your contact is with the persons around you. So in this, if it is a right relationship, then your behavior, your thinking and your behavior and your presence makes everything harmonious to the other persons. And also you also feel harmonious and tranquil if it is a right relationship. That is a test for this. When you are disturbed, so when you are disturbed means you will try to locate the cause of disturbance outside, but your mind, when your mind is not in tranquil condition, then you are disturbed. That is the very fundamental aspect. So the cause of disturbance appears to be outside, but the reaction, that is what we are learning also in the class of yoga of Patanjali. Because these two subjects are very closely related. We can understand this better when we know this also. So it is the mind. So when your mind is disturbed, then you can disturb the other person in turn. With your thoughts and with your action, you can disturb the other person. So there a disharmony and cross currents, what is called the cross currents and disharmony. So this is a wrong relationship. In the right relationship, there is no question of disharmony. Always it is harmonious and it should give you a happy and comfortable experience. So you can experience it. So if your experience is not harmonious, then there is some problem. Therefore, this sora, when it occupies the constitution of a person, then since it has occupied all your inner layers of consciousness, so always your thoughts, the structure of functioning, the function of your mind and all this structure is not normal. It is something unnatural. So for example, a person, I'll give you some examples, then you can understand. Yesterday also I have given some examples. So a person suddenly wakes up at night. He is woken up and he wakes up at night and then starts thinking, what happens if I suddenly die? Perhaps my wife and children will have to beg in the streets. Absurd. So if I die, it will be a fact, okay, if you die, if you pass away, other persons will not die with you. That's common sense. So they will have some means of...
They will die only when you die in a train.
So there is no logic. Why you are thinking like that suddenly at night when you woke up at sleep, when your sleep is disturbed, and then it disturbed due to these such thoughts. So why you should think like that? Actually you have no problem, everybody is okay. So such thoughts, when everything is normal, when everything, there is no need for such thinking, but he is made to think like that because it is sora which disturbs you like this. When it is time for you to relax, then you cannot relax. And another example, another fellow, he also wakes up at night, not intentionally, but the sora drives him out from the bed, and then he thinks and he becomes despondent in his mind, feels sorrowful. What for? It is a funny thing. In this fellow, there is a misplacement of the affection. See, this is an example I am giving. There are hundreds of examples like this. Misplacement of the affection. So, he is there, his wife and children are there. He gets up, sits in the bed and starts thinking and despondent. About whom he is thinking? He is thinking of the lady, and he feels that, oh, this lady is suffering so much and her husband is not treating her well. Why should you think of this at night? You are concerned about your wife and children, your responsibility. Why should you think of the wife of other person? If there is any problem, they have to solve it. You are not the person. Or if at all they ask you to solve it, this is not the time at night to think and sorrowful about that lady. So his affection towards his wife, if it is towards his wife and children, his affection should be there. So he is not affectionate to them, but his affection is diverted to other person, out of place. And every night he becomes despondent and sorrowful, thinks more and more. So something wrong in this fellow. Misplacement of the affection. Because of Sora. So like this there are many examples. How Sora distorts the thinking and behavior and action of the person. A wrong thinking, a wrong action. So because of this, so then this is how, now from these examples you can know this is how the common sense of the person is totally eliminated, because he will not apply common sense anymore. If we get any thought, we must apply it to the common sense, whether it is right or not. Suddenly I get a thought that I want to go and jump into the river. That means there is something wrong. So I must put it to common sense. Why should I jump into the river? What is the purpose? Then you can know. But if I not apply the common sense, then when I get the thought, then I go on to the dam and jump into the river. So that is the wrong action. So like this, for every thought, we get so many thoughts, that is true, because our mind, the mind keeps on producing thoughts. But whether the thoughts are harmonious or disharmonious, if it is a harmonious thought, then your mind can be tranquil, and these thoughts because these thoughts always spread, and the other person in your presence can be tranquil, can experience this tranquility if your thoughts are harmonious. But when your thought is disharmonious, you cannot be tranquil, because you are also disturbed, and this disturbs the other person also. And moreover, when the other person is very receptive and sensitive for this, definitely immediately it disturbs the other person. That is why in the presence of some persons we get very disturbed. If you are a person very sensitive, oversensitive person. So these are all what we can know from our experiences on the mental level. So this is all the play of Sora. Now you can understand to some extent. Of course, to understand about Sora completely takes some years, not so easy, because it is such. Hahnemann called this as a multi-headed monster. It is a monster, big monster, multi-headed monster. If you cut one head, there are many more heads. It is like a demon. There is a story. There was a demon, and when he was killed and his blood was flowing out, and from each drop of blood, again one demon was coming out. This is like this. Sora is like that, most dangerous demon. Then it destroys our discrimination. That is the main aspect. So when it destroys the discrimination, then your behavior with every aspect in your life, with food for example, when Sora destroys your discrimination, how you behave for example with your food. When you are not soric, when you have no miasm, then when you are quite natural, then only when you are hungry, then you will get the thought of food, and then you get into action, you take food. When you are affected by Sora, then what happens? You always keep thinking of food. When you have to work in the office, it is not time for food. Then if you are thinking of food, this is very tasty food, how it will be, or what is the food that is prepared now. That means there is something wrong. It is not the place and time for you to think and speak of food. But your mind is drawn to that. An example. Huh?
Is that a case of yodium?
Yes, there are many remedies. But Sora, mainly. an example. So all the misbehavior what we find in the human beings regarding all these aspects, as I told you, food, drink, rest, sleep, sex, money and all these things, all this misbehavior is because of this Sora. That is the main thing, because it has destroyed the discriminative faculty. That is why. All the time when we get the thought of sex, that means there's something wrong. Because when we observe the animals and birds, they don't entertain any thoughts. Only when it is time they will meet for the children, for getting the child. But otherwise, they live together, but they do not have all these dirty ideas. It is only the human being. So all this is because of this Sora that makes your mind always, it keeps your mind itching and itching. This is the itching of mind. Keeps on producing all this disturbance in your mind. So your discrimination is destroyed. When your discrimination is distorted, then your action is always a wrong action. And this wrong action produces its own result, which is again a disease and pain. That is how Sora, that is why Hahnemann said Sora is the basic disease, the primary disease. So when this Sora has created such disturbance, then it has disturbed your discrimination. Due to this, what happened is, especially the most distorted action is in terms of sex activity, and therefore then in this aspect, when we behave against the law of nature, then what happens is, nature has its own measures to prevent or to stop us. This is also not properly understood in normal medical science. Because we know about the diseases which are called the venereal diseases. So what happens, how nature acts, that we have to understand. How nature makes its own measures to save the human race. So whenever there is an unhealthy sexual activity, then due to the forces of nature, a disease, a sort of eruption is formed in those organs which you have used for this activity, and that is why you have the formation of the syphilitic ulcer, syphilis and gonorrhea. So the gonorrheal infection or syphilitic infection, which the human beings they get into the sexual organs, this is due to the law of nature, because you have acted in a unhealthy, indiscriminate manner. So if you continue like this, that will bring you much more harm. So to prevent you from this, nature produces this sort of suffering for that person by producing such type of ulcers or such type of eruption in those organs. then it is just like how if you put your finger into the flame, it burns. This is what we have to understand. When you put your finger into the flame, it burns. It gives you pain. If this is not there, you will put yourself completely into the flame and you will be destroyed. That is why nature creates this suffering of pain when you put yourself into the flame, to save you, not to destroy you. You can destroy yourself if this pain is not there. So this is also like fire. So what we have to understand by this? Then if this on the physical plane, what was manifested in these organs in the form of, for example, gonorrhea. So if you just leave the person without doing anything, the only thing is he cannot continue like that because it is very inconvenient, but he will live this stays with the person for the whole life, but he is not subjected to any other dangerous influences because it is localized there and he is prevented from further such action. And then this is localized only in the physical plane, and this blocks this person from further action, and therefore this person will not get any other further dangerous things. But what is happening, we will never live like this. So we have invented, the human being, we have invented so many methods, so called then we make the treatment for this. And what is this treatment? We make it disappear. We have invented very strong medicines. For example, in the older days penicillin, now antibiotics and whatever it may be, we can make it disappear from the physical plane. And then we make all the investigation of the blood and says, and now your gonorrhea is disappeared, you are cured from gonorrhea. Okay, very good.
Which kind of eruption gives the gonorrhea on the skin? Which kind of manifestation?
It is called in the form of fig warts.
Yeah.
Fig warts.
Yeah.
That is why it is called fig warts disease.
Yeah. And the syphilis are little spots.
That is chancre. In the syphilis it is called chancre.
And these are like boils and so on? Like boils?
Like boils and very much burning.
What is the big word?
Bubo. It's also bubo also. Chancre and bubo and all these things.
What means big word? Maybe make it draw.
Yan. I forgot then. Yan. Syphilis.
No, I know this something. What is big word?
Fig warts, the small warts like
Like ulcers?
that is also a type of ulcers, but small minute warts which grow on the organs. With pus-like substance.
It's like cauliflower.
Yes, like cauliflower. Yes. So what we have to understand is this is a result of wrong action, and this result was produced by nature. Nature has created this. So what is the purpose of producing such very painful eruptions? That is to block us, to prevent us from continuing what we are doing in a wrong action. But what we do, we have invented the methods to eliminate them from physical plane.
I have seen a small child, and when
Yes, in small child, because the child he has inherited directly from the parents, from the gonorrheal parent. So now here what happens is, in the same manner, when some eczema or something, when you have blocked this, it has gone back and established as psora. Now this gonorrhea, in gonorrheal infection, when you make it disappear from the physical plane, then what happens is, one is that the person feels that he is cured and he has some other, and now he feels secure, the person. He feels secure, but because there is some means to eliminate this, so once again he can do the same thing. Yes, because
He takes it a license to commit
yes,
more.
he feels it very comfortable, because you do whatever you want to do. It is just like how you eat whatever you want to eat. When you have pain, so use some painkiller, finish. It is just like that. So you have no chance to realize what is it due to and what you have to change in yourself. There is no question of realization if you do this. And much more dangerous is when you make this disappear. This gonorrhea, when it is made to disappear like this repeatedly, because once you make disappear, again after some time it may appear to save you. But when you do it repeatedly, then once for all you close it down in the physical level. So it is not eliminated. We think that it is eliminated, but it is made to disappear from physical plane. Then it enters into the vital plane. It is changed from physical into the vital plane. And from there, it is pushed back into the mental plane. So when gonorrhea is suppressed like this, then it enters into the mental plane, and there it is established as the miasm psychosis. That is the birth of psychosis. That is how the miasm psychosis came into existence.
And in the case of the small child, when the child receives no care at all and the gonorrhea, the feet warts stay there, it's better, it disappears alone without any...
No, they cannot disappear. That will stay until it is properly treated from internal.
Yeah, okay, but the treatment is absolutely necessary.
Absolutely necessary. because already the vital force is not so strong to eliminate by itself. So it needs treatment. And similarly, when the syphilis on the physical plane, when it is suppressed or made to disappear from the physical plane, then it is established on the mental plane in the form of the miasm syphilis. That is how these two miasms, syphilis and psychosis, they came into existence in the human constitutions. When once they are established as miasms, then it is very difficult to get rid of them unless you make a very perfect anti-miasmatic effort treatment, constantly observing. Because when it is established only on the physical body, physical plane, then you can eliminate by such things. But when it is established on the mental plane, it is not so easy, because it becomes very difficult to eliminate from the mental plane.
Does it need high dilution in gonorrhea?
When it is only as gonorrhea, no. When it is only in the stage of gonorrhea, then lower with 200 like that we can do by the exactly indicated remedies. Yes. But when when it is gone into as a miasm into the higher plane, then it takes a long time because we have to keep constantly to counteract this. It is like a big game. We try to do this at certain in certain form, then it changes its form, and then we feel that it has disappeared, but it does not disappear. It takes much time. It is like it plays a game. The miasm plays a big game with us.
So can you say that all our current misbehavior is due to some old generations, long time ago, purely
Yes.
sexual misbehavior? Purely sexual?
Sexual is the main misbehavior.
So that, okay.
The main prime, because it is also with other things like food and drink and other behavior, but this is most.
We talk about some hundreds years ago?
Yes, this is for many centuries, because thinking and action, and our wrong action, wrong thinking again adds to this, and then we get into the other miasmatic conditions.
How many thousands?
Yes, that is why it is so much of multiplied. It has multiplied and complicated. Now we are in such a stage where no child is left free from this, because the children are inheriting. Whatever miasm the parents have, that is inherited by the children. The only difference is the degree of intensity. Sometimes it is very intense by the birth itself. That is what we see children, some children, right from the time of birth, they are so sick and so distorted. And some children even, they are born with distortions. That is what we see in many cases.
And there are exceptions, like, I don't know, what about your parents and grandparents?
We have to know from our thoughts are there, that itself we can know. Because when we get disharmonious thoughts, that means somewhere there is still the seed is there, so we have to eliminate this. So we have to when we know this, when we know about these miasms and their and how they act, then we can know, we can also observe ourselves whether we always our mind is tranquil and getting harmonious thoughts or some disharmonious thoughts. If some disharmonious thought enters into you, immediately if it is thrown out, and if you once again you could get tranquil without any problem, that means you are almost free. Otherwise, with every disharmonious thought, it is complicated and your mind gets into wrong action. That means, so like this we have to keep observing ourselves.
So by proper realization of your own thoughts, you can neutralize them immediately. If you have this discrimination yourself, you have a negative thought, you realize it by your own, you can eliminate it immediately, right?
Yes, but when you have inherited the miasm in a higher degree, intensity, and then it starts manifesting all the disturbance all in your health. So then you need a treatment. You need the help of a treatment to reduce, to eliminate this. That is there. Otherwise, it goes on, because it goes intensifies. It intensifies, because when your action is distorted, your thoughts and action are distorted, then by the wrong action again there is adding up. So it gets more and more intensified. So first of all we have to take up a treatment first to reduce this, and then start also simultaneously you can realize. Because with the same mind it is not so easy. When your mind is very much influenced by the miasm, so in the same mind you cannot completely work out. You need the help. You need the help of a treatment, and also you need the help of the methods like the spiritual practice, yoga practice and all this will help your mind not to fall back. So all these things together are important. That is what we see. It is not only just the medicine. Medicine, what Hahnemann has proved is, with medicine it is possible that you can reach and you can eliminate this, but at the same time you must also follow these methods like practicing this yogic way of life and all these, because so that your mind is focused on a proper direction. So all this together is important, otherwise you will fall back. That is why all this spiritual way of, yogic way of living and all this it is for all the beings. It is not limited only for some persons, for everybody. But we have not realized this, therefore, then if you ask, what about so many people who don't know about yoga or spirituality, one day they have to know. Everybody has to know, every human being has to know about this. Otherwise there is no...
And it's under preparation, right, on the higher plane?
Yes.
People will be forced to.
Yes, automatically when you get into more and more suffering, one day you will think how I should get out of this suffering. Automatically nature makes you to come to that point of thinking.
Just to clarify, so the children that are born with these miasms, they may or may not have the physical manifestation.
They will have a physical manifestation.
Will have it.
Yeah, because their constitution is made susceptible to all the sorts of infections and all this. Because this makes susceptibility. This miasm, when it is there, inherited, it makes you susceptible. So that is why now many children are sick. When you in spite of the so-called vaccinations and everything, but many are sick.
But what do you mean by unhealthy sexual attitudes? Is it only having sex when you want to have a child, or what do you mean by unhealthy?
Yes, that means according to your fantasies, when you try to act according to your fantasies, and always, you see, when you are, just like how about food I have given example, about sex also, always to entertain when your mind is, you are disturbed by these things, and then your action will be, because indiscriminate behavior, that is what is wrong action. That is why in the Manu, for example, Manu is the manifestation of the solar mind. So this Manu, one of the rishis and the masters, what the masters explain as the masters, all the spiritual masters, in whatever form they are, whether in the form of Jesus or in the form of Moria, all these whomever masters we know, they will explain us how we have to make our lives. Because sexuality is also an aspect like hunger and thirst, like this. These are all the various aspects. They are placed by nature for the beings. But there are certain we have to observe certain law of nature, how to use them. For example, when you are not hungry, if you eat, then what happens? The same thing about sex also. Because our body knows the need. So when it is a need, then you have to attend the need, that is different. But more than that, it is desire. So that is what Patanjali explains. You must be able to discriminate between need and desire. Need belongs to body and desire belongs to mind. So desires make you desire about all these things, that is the disturbing factor. So you have to attend to the need. When you are hungry, you have to take food. But you are not hungry and still you want to eat, then it is wrong. The same thing with this also. So this we can, this every one of us we can know from, if we allow our discrimination to act. But this Sora destroys your discrimination. That is the problem. And psychosis and syphilis also, when they are established as miasms, they also further and further disturb your mental faculties.
But the need, is the need then to make children, or is the need, yeah, what you mean by the need?
Need, our body feels that.
Yes, but is it then for, yeah, is that for only children, or is it, yeah,
If you do it only for pleasure, always for the pleasure,
you never,
and if you use, just like food, if you eat for pleasure, then it brings a problem. Same thing. The only thing is we are not habituated to correlate all these things. We do not link up all these things. That is why the problem. But when we know this, because these are all common to all the beings, to the animals, to the human beings. For all these beings, these are common needs. So we have to understand in that manner, with a broad mind, then we can know. So when is the time for that, when it is not time for that, this we can know ourselves. That is not difficult if we start to know. So when we make a discriminate, when it is not time for that indiscriminate activity, then it leads to problem. That is why we drive ourselves into suffering. That is what we have to realize. So here we have now to know to a certain extent how the miasm is established in the human constitution. So how can we identify the miasm? That is another aspect. Can the miasm be identified? If it is not identified, how can we deal with it? So how can we identify whether a miasm is there? So there are clear features of each miasm that were also explained by Hahnemann, and afterwards the next followers of Hahnemann have further explained about this. How can we identify the miasm? For each of these miasms there are very characteristic features which we can identify, and also, so now we know to a certain extent about these three miasms: Sora, psychosis and syphilis. And later another miasm was also identified, and that is what is called the fourth miasm, tuberculosis. So this tuberculosis, not the physical tuberculosis, but the miasm tuberculosis once again. So this also is identified in the human constitutions. So this is also equally powerful, and it also occupies the whole mental layer of the human being, the mind. So it is also established on the level of mind, and then it makes its own characteristic type of behavior in the person. So we will know how we can identify these miasms because this also distorts the behavior of the person.
What kind of behavior?
Yeah, I am going to explain every miasm we are going to study. We won't leave because that is our main study. Unless we know this, we cannot perfectly understand what is the cause of disease and how we have to eliminate. We cannot understand unless we study this. So Sora is the basic miasm, the prime disease of the human beings, and because of Sora we have syphilis and psychosis. Since a long time they were also established as miasms, and later due to certain interactions there is the miasm tuberculosis now, which is increasing more and more in the human beings. The tuberculosis type of behavior that we are going to study, that is increasing more, very much. Because of this, now we see more criminal type of mentality in the human beings. so much of crime is because of these two. That is what we are going to study now. So now let us first take up Sora, because that is the first and primary miasm. So we have a certain idea what is Sora, the so-called itch disease. So what are the characteristic features of this that we are going to take up now? The very fundamental, very characteristic main feature of Sora is aristocracy, or what you call hypocrisy. Not Hippocrates, hypocrisy. Huh? Hypocrisy. Yeah.
What means hypocrisy?
That means feeling,
Yeah, I'm trying that, but it's okay.
aristocracy are almost like synonyms. It means when a person feels of himself very high, when a person feels of himself very high than the other beings, that is what is called aristocracy or hypocrisy. That is very characteristic feature of this miasm, Sora. In every field. So that makes the person always think the supremacy over other beings. This is the key of Sora, the keynote. That is. So this can be reflected when this is reflected in the life of a person. So in everything, in every aspect, that person cannot admit or accept any superior quality in any other person. Impossible. So everything is associated with this. He will get angry. He will be irritable. He gets irritable, angry because of this, because he feels only himself. That is what we see for all the political disturbances among nations now.
They never want to lose.
They never want to lose. They have fear of losing. When they feel very high of themselves, then they always try to keep this high. So all their thinking and activity in the life is mainly to keep themselves high. So therefore, they lose the simplicity of living, and then always. So when other person cannot, because when one person is this, another person also has Sora, and then what happens? The other person, everybody wants to keep himself high. That is the very basic nature of Sora. So this is reflected in every thought, every action of this person. And subsequently, because of this, the other features, that means another feature is that this person of Sora easily creates his own impression about the other person even without knowing what about the other person. For example, for the first time we met each other. So then we start to know each other. But for the first time when I see, oh, this person, yes. So like this. How can you know that? Well, forms an opinion immediately and always a wrong opinion. That is Sora. Forms an opinion and always a negative and wrong opinion about the other person. That is the feeling of supremacy. So this when this is, now you can know how such person in daily life, how he can behave in every field. If he is a teacher, if he is a doctor, if he is an engineer, if he is a head of the country, whatever it may be, but his behavior will be like that. So he can make his life miserable and he can make others' lives miserable because of this behavior. The first thing is in the family. So in the society, how he behaves, how he lives in the society, so he cannot have a right relationship with other persons when this is there. Because always he makes himself a distance, because he cannot admit others' presence because he feels higher. That is aristocracy. So even in spiritual field, religious field, so a person feels my religion is the highest of all the religions. That means Sora. All others who do not believe my religion are sinners. That is Sora. And all the nations should be under my control. That is Sora. That is what we see now.
So Hitler was Soric?
Yes, definitely, highly Soric. And now there are many big Hitlers. In those days only one Hitler, but now many Hitlers, you see. That is why they should make a war, because the fear that they will go out of control. That is what we see. All the wars and all this because of this.
And materialism would go with hypocrisy, right?
Yes.
Or aristocracy.
Yes.
Yes. To have more, to appear more.
Yes. Always an effort to make, to appear, to establish. All the time in life, the effort is only to establish the supremacy. So to establish supremacy, they do all wrong things. To push down others, an effort to, because when I want to keep myself, to push down others. That is what starts from the very beginning. So when the child has inherited Soric miasm, then you can observe in the child. The child wants to be always to be in the front, keeping the others back. When there are many children, when something is, for example, you brought some sweets for children. So a Soric person wants to be then the first. So it is reflected right from the childhood. And then another feature is that they are easily irritable. Why they are angry, sometimes we cannot find the reason. They can be angry very easily. This is also associated with this. When their supremacy is at stake, then they are angry immediately. So in the family, for example, if the man chief of the family is Sorik, then he is always angry when the wife or children they disagree. If the wife is Sorik, then she will be angry with the husband and children. So it is like a game. When he feels that there is a disagreement with him or with her, then immediately they are angry. No discrimination. That is what you see. And also there is another feature is quarrelsome nature. They are quarrelsome. They are ready to quarrel, ready to fight. This fighting instinct, ready, a quarrelsome nature. So there is no adjustable nature in them. Quarreling. Yes, QA. So this no adjustment in them. Before. Sorry. No adjustment before. No, they cannot adjust with anybody. So therefore, always they are ready to fight. Fight for the rights. That is what we see now in everywhere. The fighting is to establish the right. This is my right. That is Sorik. Sorik behavior. They don't remember their responsibility. They only remember their rights. To establish the right. So fighting, that's what we see because of this. And also always these persons, Sora, always they are conscious of how they disagree with the other person, not how they agree. So their reaction is to disagree. For example, you say that there is a very good homeopathic doctor who is very good doctor, and also, then if I am sorry, I say, oh, you say that he is so good. I have seen such fellows. I disagree.
I am better, you would say, for sure.
Yes, I am better, and I know after all what he knows. And disagreement also in many things, even little things also. If you say that such and such place is very beautiful, I say, I can show you more beautiful things. Don't tell me. You see, yes, there can be many beautiful things, but what you are telling is such and such is very thing, our place is beautiful. So what is wrong in that?
But the one who says about himself that he's also better than anybody else, or he's very good, is also a sorry person.
Yes. So how to disagree with the other person, that is the main reaction of this person, sorry person. The first reaction is to disagree. Whether it is right or wrong, whether what the other person says may be right, may be wrong, that is something. But before knowing this, first thing is to disagree. Says no.
To have the supremacy.
Because he feels, if he agrees immediately, then he feels he is losing. That is the problem. He feels that he is dominated. He is dominating, he wants to dominate, but he feels that if he agrees with the other person immediately, then the other person is dominating. That is why he disagrees.
So could you say that children of about 2 or 3 years old who go through the phase of always saying no, no, no to everything, that they pass a Soric phase? Or is that something not connected?
Not connected. It is maybe many reasons. If the child is a syphilitic child also, because he cannot comprehend, therefore he says no.
Okay.
That can be syphilitic also. So this forming a wrong opinion and disagreement, these are all the consequences of this basic quality. Basic character, that is aristocracy. That is translated into many forms.
Is it exactly the same for the animal kingdom? The miasms? Do they exist for the animal kingdom?
For the animal kingdom, no, because for the miasm, the mind is the main substratum of miasm. In the animal kingdom, mind is not so awakened like in human kingdom.
But they can be distorted as well.
They are not due to miasmatic conditions.
So miasms do not exist.
Only to certain extent, our mind can reflect on the domesticated animals, but not natural animals.
That's why the miasm is contagious if an animal has two.
If the animal has a disease, in the natural habitat, if the animal has a disease, so they will be destroyed. But that is not that this can multiply to other animals where they are. That cannot happen.
But in a close relationship, animal human.
Our human mind reflects into this mind of the animal because of telepathy. Because the phenomenon of telepathy is there. So those animals which are close to the human beings, due to telepathy, their mind is, our mind reflects into that mind, as long as they are in close contact with us. When again they go back in natural, then automatically it goes back. This is because of telepathy. So even a snake, for example, when we see the snake, what happens? We get fear. Oh, it is a snake. Then it is telepathically it is reflected. Oh, who is this? Same thing. And then immediately we get, if the snake attacks us, then the snake gets the same thought. If this fellow attacks me, yeah, this is true. So then, when we start thinking that how to destroy this snake, then it gets the idea how to destroy this fellow. Exactly, you can explain this. When your mind is tranquil, nothing happens. This I can tell you because of my experience. If your mind is neutral, nothing happens. They will not attack you. When you are sympathetic, neutral and positive, then this telepathy will act in, they also behave like that. It is how you behave that is reflected there, especially in the animals. Especially the wild animals, because they are in natural condition, and then when we disturb their mind, and then they act like that.
But if a lion is hungry and sees a yogi,
When it is hungry, when the lion is hungry also,
he would kill the yogi.
no. If you can keep neutral, that will search for its food, but not to you.
In Egypt, they use lions, and like now we use horses. They use them to pull the carts, but they have to be in a certain frame of mind, because if not, the lion would not accept to take the cart with the human being. So their mind dominated the mind of the animal to make it go pull the cart.
There is what is called the group soul. Group souls. When you go into the nature, into the mountains and forests, there is what is called the phenomenon of group soul. So, the animals and the birds and the plants and all, one group soul will act through all of them. That is a different phenomenon. That we will know sometime later. So let us continue tomorrow's class.